Welcome everybody to the Wolf of Wallsend, episode 5, with special guest Martin. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Russell, and hi everybody. Yeah, so I am Martin. I'm the VP of Sales at Ocean.io, a Danish SaaS startup
hmm
company based out of Copenhagen. As I said, I'm VP of Sales and self-proclaimed dad joke connoisseur. So yeah, that's what I spent my time on. Working with some sales and yeah, making people face palm of from all the bad jokes. So
Well,
I'm kind of sorry, but not really sorry.
I've been dying to tell you about a joke. So, obviously, since we last spoke, I was out in Malta. I got married a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
So,
congrats, man!
now got
Oh,
this thing on my hand. But I told a joke that you'd have absolutely loved. And it was in my wedding speech, and it was a joke that my granddad told me to add. And it was what is it? It's a very emotional day today, a very special day. Even the cake's in tears. The tears in the cake. And
oh,
you can really tell how people react to cheesy jokes because some people had a look of sheer disgust on their face, and some people actually found it funny.
yeah.
So like, there's a fine line of like dry humor, isn't there, and then slapstick humor. So yeah, you know your audience. I think you would have you would have been a good person to have in the audience when I told that joke, Martin.
You would definitely have had my applause, that's for sure. You'd see me
So
clapping down the corner. That's a promise. Yeah,
you can use that one. You can use that one.
I
Well,
definitely will. I definitely will. I just need to find the right time. Maybe when one of my kids get married or something. I'll
yeah,
see.
or if you're a best man or groomsman or something. So yeah, then you've got a really interesting platform behind what you're doing there at Ocean.io. I've been a customer. I would maybe call it in the earlier days. It sounds like from our conversation offline, you've developed it a lot, you've built on it a lot, changed your ICP, redefined your total addressable market, and how you work with your customers as well. You were talking there a lot about your integration to CRM now being Keystone, not a feature, not a tab,
Yeah.
but really great tool. And I think the one thing that's always stuck with me, and whenever I've had to explain Ocean, because I have explained it and sent people in the direction of Ocean, is clone your favorite customer.
Yeah.
Let's beyond just value proposition
hmm
and SIC code or industry tag. Let's look at the value proposition of the customers that you do your best work with,
hmm
and let's clone that through intelligent reading of the value propositions and everything that goes on to a company's website, etc. Way beyond the typical sales tools that you see, where you're like, right, 100 employees, aviation industry, head of sales, go. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's so many more layers to that. But I did just want to give a quick shout out to Ocean. You've helped me find some business over the years. So hey. But look, this is as well, Martin, just as much about you. So,
Mm,
with the format for this, I like to ask you a few questions, just answer
sure.
them as naturally as possible. And I guess the first one, and I think we've touched on this in the past, how did you find yourself in sales? Did you fall
Yep.
into it like the rest of us?
Well, yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did back in the days. Phew, it's it's a long time ago, but I finished what the Danish equivalent to high school is,
Yeah.
like a business college thing here in Denmark, and I was working in a retail store, and it was like I didn't really know what to do or what I wanted to do, and this I had this manager who said like, yeah, how about working in retail? And then I get with, oh yeah, you know, for sure I'm not gonna sit in a freaking office somewhere, sat behind a screen that's way too boring. So I decided, okay, well let's do that. And then I took yeah, a retail education. It took
uh,
me 2 years, like normal, and I actually worked in retail for 14 years.
Wow.
Um, First as a regular foot soldier, But then became manager and then head of departments and also part of kind of a team that built up the um, new shops around Copenhagen. And at some point, working 80 hours a week in all the holidays and weekends and everything just didn't really work that well with building a family at the same time. Um, I'm a father of three kids, so um, and I wanted to keep my wife as well, so I kind of had to do something about that. And I had a friend that I was like, "Hey, Martin, we're doing this thing. It's B2B sales. Basically, just sit and call some people and have a conversation with them. And maybe they
Mhm.
buy something, maybe they don't. How about that? We're like we go home early on Fridays and we have weekends and vacations off. I'm like, okay, let's try that out. And I took a few days off, went to the office, sat next to my friend there, and just did a few calls. And it was like, yeah, could do this.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
seems fairly okay. And yeah, so just yeah, like anyone else, stumbled into it. It's not like it was something that I was thought I was meant to do. It's just like it just worked.
yeah. You use skills that you developed along the way and
Yeah,
put them into the highest earning potential role. I would say when you're good with people,
yeah,
you can active listen, you have tactical empathy, you can socialize, but also put your head down and work when you need to. So
yeah,
there's no better role really is there than sales for that. I think if you've got those character traits, it rings true what you're saying as well. I've got someone here at Durham Lane, actually, literally on the other side of this door. I hope he's on the phone making calls and not sat on LinkedIn. But he was working in Hugo Boss as assistant store manager here in the UK. And, knew the range of suits that they had, the range of clothes that they had, like the back of his
mhm,
hand. Was really good at it. Was really comfortable at it. But he he was having a baby boy with my cousin, and I knew, you know, working in retail, but then
yeah,
having to get a bus home, which was probably an hour or an hour and a half, isn't going to give you much time with the family. By the
no,
time you go to work your ass off, get the transport home, 11 o'clock at night, kids probably
yeah,
been asleep for a few hours, So it was a really nice moment in my life when he passed his interview stage and passed his probation actually just a couple of weeks ago here at Durham Lane. So I can feel how your friend felt when, well, looking back now, I'm probably seeing you in a really good role, still
yeah,
in sales, still making those calls. So yeah. And what
yeah,
about sorry, man. What about Ocean then? So you stumbled into sales, but you were on a certain path. What
yeah.
brought you to Ocean?
Well, that's also a bit of a funny story. I was like I was working in an events company at that point in time. And what we did was, reach out to companies like Ocean. Ocean was very early days at that point, but I connected with Michael, our founder,
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, and we just had a quick conversation. I like quickly qualified that this doesn't make sense for these guys, so it was never meant to be, or it never turned into a sales conversation. But then we just talked a little bit, and he explained kind of the vision of Ocean and what it was, and then I was like, well, sounds pretty cool. And then I moved on, and it took me like 6 months,
Okay.
and then I was like, I saw a post from them again, and I was like, this seems like it would be pretty helpful. And then I just called Michael up and said, hey, you guys looking for any salespeople? Because I think I kind of want to sell what you guys have. Um, and then we had a conversation, and it's just like it was very early days. You just went commercial when I joined, so it was like the version 1.01 maybe uh, of Ocean. But he really sold me on the vision, like the fact that
Yeah.
we as salespeople, everyone's who's been in sales for B2B sales specifically, we've sat there hours and hours and hours prospecting like crazy using LinkedIn, Google, whatever, you know. we've been using so many tools and it's so inefficient. And it was just like, okay, so I just put in one thing, and then I have a complete list of customers I can reach out to, like that. I was like, "Phew, if I've had that
Yeah,
for my when I started in sales, wow, I would have killed it." So yeah, that's it's actually because I just freaking love that product. It
yeah,
was
believe
just
in that.
blew my mind completely. And yeah, so that's how I kind of how I ended up here.
I love those stories when it's not a traditional way of getting the job.
Mm,
Or when you haven't just, I saw the job on, I don't know what popular job sites you might have over there in Denmark, right? But
yep.
you have Indeed.com, that's a big one here. And, I saw the
Mm,
job on Indeed, I applied for it, submitted my CV. I love it when there's a bit of ingenuity
yep.
and proactivity behind it. So no, I used all of my sales skills, all my professional persistence. I hit the CEO with 20 touch points. I used his own articles and then eventually he interviewed me. And I love those stories. It's great where
Yeah, it was. It,
you've
it,
boomeranged back to
yeah,
Motion.io from past sales outreach and went, I want to work with you. I love, I love to hear that. I love to
yeah.
hear stuff like that. So the next question then, moving into a little bit of your role at the moment, what you're doing.
Hmm.
You know, I've got a good idea of what this may be because I've spoken with you quite a lot in the past, but how would you describe your sales side and sorry, how would you describe your sales style
Hmm.
and your go-to value builder, whatever it may be. So I guess to set the scene, help you answer, Martin. I listened to the Challenger and I got a real should have listened to it years ago, right? But I listened to it recently. Didn't read it, I listened to it. And
Yeah, you need to read it too, man.
Um, I think I would have fell at one point in the time in the relationship builder bucket because the rapport always comes
Hmm.
natural. I like to create relationships, hold on to them. But now I'm over the last 6 months or so really trying to become that challenger, insightful,
Hmm.
just always leading with insights and challenging their perceptions based on data, based on insights, because it's the best way to sell to the enterprise, which is somewhere where I want to be killing it, right? I want to pride myself. So how would you describe yourself, Martin? What would you put that down to?
Mm. I mean, it's I've been through quite a few of the sales
Yeah,
sales
training.
guidance books as well. Back from spin selling and all the good ones. I mean, and I don't think that you can take like one specific method and say that
Yeah,
this is the only source of truth or this is the only way to do it. I've really tried to take things from each of the books I've read. Um, One that's really top of my mind over the last couple of years, or couple of years is I think you probably read it too, like Never Split the Difference.
um,
Chris Voss,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
freaking
Look,
amazing book.
look. Um,
Uh,
I've heard him on lots of podcasts
yeah,
in the past.
yeah.
Of any signal here, but no. 5 hours and 53 minutes left. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's it.
Yeah,
That's it at the top. So,
it's it is spot on. It's an amazing book. Really, really love that book. And it's not just for sales and negotiations. Like with any other sales book, there's things that you can apply to kind of your regular life as well.
yeah,
Me
get the wife
negotiating with
to
my kids or my wife or whatever.
get to do the cooking or the washing tonight.
Yeah. So there's things that you can apply. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this too much. But
She's going to be listening to the audio book on her way home tonight, like picking up on the tactics that you're going to be using on her.
yeah, it's just
Like,
then she's
so
gonna
why do you need that? So why do you need to do that? How quickly?
she's gonna blow the case wide open, and I have gonna have nothing to do. I'm just gonna sit there and be like, "Ugh, I don't know." Yeah. No, but my style is, I think I tend to be quite lean back. So you could say that it's definitely something in terms of relationship builder or building rapport, but it's definitely also about I don't I don't necessarily like the word challenger because you don't need necessarily to challenge and challenge and challenge.
Uh,
You bring your own insights and your own experience. And once you've been in sales for a few years, like, you start building experience.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd rather say that it's more about, you have a conversation with people about what their issues are, and what,
Mm.
like, how does it affect if you don't solve it, and the regular sales stuff that you ask, like, to understand, is there actually a pain that needs solving here, or is it just something that's nice to have? um I think that we've been working a lot with in Ocean, like, how do we get from the point of being a nice to have to an actual need to have? um
Mhm.
so that's something that we've been working on a lot. And so for me, I'd say that it's I'm definitely assertive, but also focused on building, the relationship, but especially about sharing our own insights, sharing our own, you know our own way of developing and learning and doing stuff. um, that's much more what we do, and then whether or not it turns into a deal at that point, poof. But one thing I've learned over the years is qualify out as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
um, and that's a lesson I could have used, well, when I started selling.
Yeah.
I think we all could
Yeah.
qualify out, and like, really, really spend your time wisely.
Yeah.
That's probably the best advice I could have given myself 5 years ago.
That's part of, you mentioned that it links into the type of approach I'm trying to take. So whenever I start my new business conversations, there's a few go-to insights that I share to set the scene on why we do what we do and why
Mm,
I'm trying to have this conversation with you, Mr. Prospect. 67% of the buying journeys now being done digitally, according to
hmm.
Gartner. It's a bit of an older stat, I think 2019. But
Yeah.
that means I can really nicely tee up the fact that we don't just do sales outreach anymore. We do marketing demand generation that links in and augments the sales outreach, because if 67% of the journey is happening digitally, you
Hmm.
need to be across more channels, you need to be
Yep.
front of mind earlier on. And another one is that 50%, or often more than 50% of salespeople's time is spent on deals that are never going to close. So
Yep.
again, it's the in intuition to know when you're going to qualify out just as much as when you're going to qualify in and move things through the funnel.
Yep.
Uh, I think I would be pretty financially further ahead as well if I was a little more lenient on
Yeah,
follow.
we all wanted to, we all would. I mean, it's this case of, we tend to have, I don't know if I where I heard the term, like, happy ears. We tend to just, hear what we want to hear.
Yeah.
um and it's something that it kind of goes against our nature to try and hear for something that we don't want to hear. um so it's not easy to do, but once you learn to do it and start doing it, consistently, I mean, your conversations, every conversation is going to change completely.
Mm.
Because it's not about how can I progress this deal, or how can I, make this guy say yes to me. It's more about how can I actually make this guy figure out if he wants to say yes or no.
Help them
Just,
buy.
yeah,
Yeah.
just give me. It's the thing, right? We've all been ghosted here and there. It's like, just give me the no. Just give me
Yeah.
a no, so we can move on with our lives.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that's probably the best advice I could give myself at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And that then leads to the way that you are now and your style now.
Yeah.
So two questions left for you, Martin, and I think just going to go ahead and answer the second last one because it's a pretty obvious one, right? What's your favorite tool of the trade?
Well,
Got to be Ocean.io, hasn't it? Like looking on Indeed.com tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. I probably needed to look for another job if I said anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yes, definitely, definitely Ocean.io. It is by far the most powerful tool I've ever come across in my sales career.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few. So yeah, there's just no contest.
Yeah.
Contest. Besides that, it's kind of more into something like LinkedIn. It's an extremely powerful social platform. I wouldn't say that it's good for just lead gen. It's something, it's a good social platform where we can get new connections and talk to people. And then sometimes it turns into business. But if you kind of only focused on using it for business, it's also a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
it becomes a bit of a drain. I think it makes, and I say this because I've only been doing the podcast thing for what 5 episodes now, a few months, right? It's
mm,
making the world of sales a less lonely place.
yeah,
You know, I don't go on LinkedIn and all I see is funny signs anymore. Like I see
no,
content, I see people having a laugh, I see people being serious but professional, sharing insight, and I think it helps make the world a bit of a less the sales world a bit of a less lonely place if you are the salesman, especially selling to salespeople, selling to other salespeople. That's essentially
hmm
you and I, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
It'd be a lonely place because if your counterpart doesn't want to get back to you and they're ghosting you, then who else are you going to talk to? You know.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's true.
so we'll move swiftly on from that one then because it's a no contest, right? So this
Yeah.
one, what's your favorite media for for sales? Right, we've talked a bit about the books. You've mentioned Never Split the Difference. I've
hmm
mentioned the Challenger Sale, but like anything like a film or a TV show or a book or a podcast or anything that you listen to and you watch and you think, right, I'm going to go make a call now. I've been waiting to drop
Yeah.
this pitch onto this CEO for quite a while now. I've got the air under my wings to go and do it after watching or listening to this.
No, I mean, uh, kind of in line with this one here. I mean, I love the movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, not because it's like it not because that's actually how sales is, but you definitely see some similarities to what sales is, and in some very hardcore sales driven old school American companies, a lot of that culture is still the same thing.
Mm,
Um, Maybe not to that extent, but still, it's in that direction.
yeah,
And it's just fun to watch. I mean, yeah, you gotta love those guys.
yeah,
And then I kind of I like the fact that he's actually in the movie and all that stuff. It's just, it's cool. In terms of podcasts, I actually liked listening to what's it called? Brian G. Burns,
yeah.
the
Great, isn't it?
Revenue Leadership Show, and the B2B, what's it called? Sales something. Um, I really like that one too. I mean, and some of it's not necessarily completely relevant, but others like he has some good points. And I like the some of the interviews and talking to some of
Yeah,
the people that
yeah,
that's been through it. I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I see a lot of that stuff on YouTube. Like
yeah,
YouTube is the place where I go to escape. Really,
yeah,
Facebook, you're not switched off. Instagram, you're not switched off. But I think when I go into a rabbit hole of watching videos on YouTube, whether it's about medieval conquests in the middle the Middle Ages, going into the Holy Land, different types of crusades from first to third. I get lost, but I always find myself watching the Brian G. Burns stuff
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah,
And I think it says something to the type of work that he does and the content he produces that I can go there to escape but still want to learn about
yeah,
work. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah,
yeah.
he's
It's
a,
pretty cool. Then one book, it's some of the stuff is definitely outdated, but Dale Carnegie,
yeah, yeah. How
How
to
to
Win
Win
Friends
Friends
and Influence.
and Influence People. It's it's a really good book as well. I mean, it just it sets your mind straight on some things. Um, and that's just in general. I think that's it's a it's a good read. Um, yeah, I mean, you definitely hear that some of it's from back from the 1920s or
Uh,
something like that. It's, so,
he's a,
but definitely, I mean, books still good. It's still
yeah,
good.
that book's relevant forever. I think as long as human beings are interacting with one another,
Yeah,
getting someone's name right,
yeah,
it's timeless.
yeah.
So, Martin Strube, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed doing this. It's been a long time coming, and
Yeah.
it was really nice to catch up with you a little bit offline beforehand, see how you're getting on, and I'm glad you had a good time at the match last week as well with the kids. Hope
Definitely,
you didn't,
yes.
hope you didn't light too many flares and smash up too many pubs. Yeah. Your way
Well,
out the,
that's
the
more for you guys, isn't it? Like, isn't that the British football culture? Like, we're the cool and calm, collected guys.
yeah. But
Yeah,
it's been an absolute pleasure. So
thanks, man.
I'm gonna drop it here. But I hope you do well, Martin, over the rest of this
Thanks.
financial.
Just
Yeah, it
before we
sounds like
finish,
big
just before
targets.
we
Oh,
finish.
go on then. Yeah, I've been waiting for
Yes.
this.
Okay,
Drop it
okay,
in.
okay. Okay, I have two. I have two.
Go on then.
Okay. So Horace walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Hey." Horace says, "Sure."
That must have took you ages to come up with that one.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, so how does Darth Vader like his toast?
I don't know. Tell me.
On the dark side.